What's up everybody, I hope you're doing well, and today we're going to be testing out Charge's brand new power bank offering, the Shargeek 170. Now if you've been following my channel, you know that last year I did a review on the Shargeek Storm 2, which I absolutely love, still working great, but I actually think that the Shargeek 170 is a little bit of an upgrade over the Storm 2 in functionality and design. And we'll go over that in just a second. So the Shargeek 170 has a 24,000 milliamp hour battery. It's got a max output of 170 watts. It can also input 140 watts. It weighs 680 grams or 23.98 ounces. It uses power delivery 3.1. It's got an IP66 water resistance rating, and it's also got a nice big multicolor display. So here is the power bank itself. It's got a pretty good weight to it, and it feels pretty nice in the hand with this new design. Now, one thing I have to say about the Charge company is the fact that I trust them with my devices because they don't cut corners and use cheap internal components or inferior batteries. So you know when you buy one of their power banks, you know you're getting the best product possible. And because of the clear design, you can easily see everything that's inside the battery. They're not trying to hide anything. And when you feel this thing in your hand, you feel that it's premium. From the solid caps on the ends of the power bank to the internals that you can easily see, even the multicolor smart display that they have on their power bank, you're not going to find another power bank out there that's built quite like this. Now on the charging side, we have two USB Type-C ports that can be used to charge the device as well as charge other devices. They can do a max of 140 watts out, and we have a USB Type-A port that can do a max of 30 watts out, and the 140 and the 30 watts will give you a max of 170. We also have our power button right here, and these end caps feel really premium. And in case you happen to ever forget what the output wattages were for this power bank, they simply have them printed on the other cap. Now, as I mentioned before, this does have a max of 140 watts input, but you will need to make sure that you have a wall adapter that can output 140 watts to be able to charge at those speeds. Another really cool feature about this power bank is the fact that it has a low current mode. And if you've ever tried to plug in your earbuds, smartwatch, or other small device into a charger and it doesn't charge, it's most likely because the charger does not have a low current mode. Most smaller devices require lower power to be charged, and this power bank gives that to you. It also has a nice big multicolored display that shows you time until recharged, remaining battery life, and output wattage and input wattage. It also has pass-through charging, so you can charge up both the power bank and your device at the same time. And when you're charging multiple devices at the same time, the charger automatically adjusts output to each device for the most reliable charge. This power bank is also airline safe at only 86.4 watt hours, so you can easily put it into your carry-on without having to worry about issues at the security checks. It also has all the important safety protocols you would expect from a power bank, and these will keep you and your devices safe. So there is the nice bright display. As I mentioned before, it shows how much battery life you have left, how much time is remaining until the battery is totally charged. We have our output wattage and our input wattage. So last year I did a review on the Storm 2, and I think the 170 is actually an upgrade over the Storm 2 in functionality and design. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So if you take a look at the Storm 2, we do have a multicolor display just like the 170, but it's a lot smaller. I definitely think it's a lot harder to read. Everything is super small, and they fixed that with the 170. Another thing I like more about the 170 is the fact that it has the triangle design. So when you have it sitting down in front of you, the display is angled more towards your face, whereas the Storm 2, it's kind of sitting flat. So if you have the battery sitting like this and it's away from your face, you kind of have to angle it more towards you and bring it a little closer to your face to actually read what's on the display. Especially me being older, it's harder to see the smaller specs on the display. And even when you have it laying down like this, sometimes it's also hard to see, and they fixed that with the 170. So now let me show you what this power bank can do. Now, once you turn this on, you don't have to worry about turning it off, because if you're not using it, it will automatically shut itself off after a few minutes. So I'm going to plug this into a 100-watt adapter, and we'll see what kind of information we can get from the display here. So as you can see, I didn't turn it on. It just automatically turns on when you start using it. As you see, we're inputting about 90.3 watts, and it's going to take about 23 minutes for the battery to continuously charge up to 100%. Now, as I mentioned before, this also has power pass-through, so you can charge up your devices while the power bank itself is actually being charged. Now I'm going to plug in my Google Pixel 8 Pro. So it's now outputting about 20.4 watts. And the input wattage for the charger has not been changed either, so that's definitely a plus. Now, even though the input wattage has not changed on the charger, the time to charge the power bank has gone up just slightly, so just keep that in mind when you're charging other devices while you're charging the power bank. And if you want to put it into its low power mode to charge up smaller devices like we have here, we've got some earbuds, just simply press in the power button twice, and it puts it into its low power mode. So you can just simply plug in your earbuds now, and they should start to charge. Now, because this outputs 140 watts, you can easily charge up a 16-inch MacBook Pro, which we have here, and it will make a difference which cable you use. If you're going to be using the USB Type-C, it's only going to be able to do 90 watts, but if you use the charging cable that came with the MacBook Pro, you should be able to get up to 140 watts. And I'll show you what I mean. So we'll plug in the USB Type-C cable into our power bank, and the other end into our MacBook Pro, and we should see about around 90 watts output. So as you can see, right now we're getting about 85.6 watts out of the power bank, and that's because through the USB Type-C port, the MacBook Pro can't accept more than 90 watts. So now we're going to connect the original cable that came with my MacBook Pro into our power bank here, and the other end into my MacBook, and we'll see what kind of speeds we can get with that. So here, as you can see, we're getting much faster speeds now using the other cable that came with the MacBook Pro. We're getting about 129-ish watts out from the power bank. So if you want the fastest charge possible with your MacBook Pro, make sure you use the cable that originally came with it. Now, this power bank is capable of charging 3 devices at the same time. So we're going to plug in a couple more things, and we'll see what that does to the charging times. So again, I'm going to plug in my Google Pixel 8 Pro. So now it's charging the MacBook and the Google Pixel. And we're also going to plug in my iPhone 15 Pro Max using the USB Type-A port. So now it's charging all 3 devices at the same time, and we're outputting about 99 watts. So again, when you plug in 3 devices all at the same time, it's going to redistribute the power through the 3 devices. The MacBook Pro was getting the 140 watts, but now it's getting more like 65 watts. The iPhone's getting 18 watts, and the Google Pixel is most likely getting around 65 as well. So as you can see, this power bank is more than capable of charging 3 big devices all at the same time. Another really nice thing about this triangular design of the power bank is you can use it as a stand for your laptop while you're charging. All you need to do is simply put the back end of your tablet or laptop on the charger, and it angles your laptop more up towards your face. And because of that IP66 water resistance rating, you also don't have to worry about splashing the power bank with water or maybe some coffee if you happen to have it on your desk. Now, as I mentioned before, if you want to charge up your power bank as fast as possible, you're going to want a wall adapter that can do at least 140 watts. So right now we're getting about 130 watts input. That's using the USB Type-C cable that came with the power bank, and I have the cable connected to the power bank that came with my MacBook Pro. So now we're going to do a little temperature test. I just used this power bank to charge up my MacBook Pro from 0 to 50%, and the power bank barely got warm. Now we're going to charge up the power bank from 0 to 100%. I've got my temperature gauge right here. We're going to see what the temperature is as it's been sitting here not being charged. So we're sitting at about 67 degrees. So now I'm going to charge it up to 100%. I'm going to test the temperature at intervals of 25% up to about 80%. I'm going to be using my MacBook Pro charger, which is again 140 watts. So it'll get up to pretty close to 140 watts charging. So as you can see, we're sitting at 0%. And we're getting about 120 watts in, and it should take about 44 minutes to totally charge. All right, so we just hit 25% charge. Now let's test out the temperatures of the battery. So now we're sitting at about 72.7 degrees. Now I'll try it again at 50%. It only feels very slightly warm. All right, we just hit 50% charge. Let's test the temperature again. Now we're at 83.3, and it's still only slightly warm. All right, so we just hit 75%. Now let's test out our temperature. So right now it's sitting at 92.1 degrees, and it's noticeably a little warmer, but it's still warm and not hot. So I'm going to let it go a little past 80%, and we'll see if the input wattage changes at all, as well as the temperature. So we just hit 80%, and as you can see, our wattage is pretty much cut in half. So it's going to be charging a lot slower now from 80 to 100%, and our temperature right now is 91.6, and we'll see how long it stays at this temperature. And the power bank itself is only slightly warm. So here we are at 95%. Test out our temps. Still at 93.2, so it's pretty much maintained that temperature even though the charging has slowed down quite a bit. I absolutely love these types of power banks. I'm a nerd when it comes to really cool tech, and me being a content creator and charging up a lot of other power banks and devices, it's really good for me to know what those devices are actually getting, and that's what this really cool display shows you. You're not going to find another power bank out there that looks as cool as this, and I think the addition of the bigger screen and the ergonomic design definitely makes it stand out from the other Sharge power banks, or any other power bank for that matter. It charges up super quick, and it really doesn't get hot. It's just very slightly warm to the touch. And that definitely makes me feel a lot safer than if I were to have a power bank that got super hot, especially if you're going to put this in your book bag. So again, if you guys want to pick this up, I will be putting links in the video description. And if you guys enjoyed the video, it would really help out my channel if you gave me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.